Hi, I'm Annette Reeder from the biblicalnutritionist.com, and it is my joy to serve you God's recipe for excellent health. While you're here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can get notified every time we post new videos, and we have videos coming out almost every day. Also, hit the bell next to it so you get notified. Now, here's one other step I want you to make. That was 2 steps. Now I want you to do the 3rd step. Go to my website, thebiblicalnutritionist.com, and grab the free download, 7 Steps to Amazing Biblical Health and 3 Lies That Prevent It. And you must read to the end. When you do that, you're going to get invited into our private Facebook group, Biblical Nutrition Academy. I look forward to joining you there, talking with you, answering more questions, and just having a good conversation. Plus, we have great challenges every month. I really want to meet you there. Doesn't matter what country either. All right, so let's get started. This was submitted by Jonathan Belmont. He writes, I'm interested in the fact that you know which foods are genetically modified and ones that aren't. Could you give me more detail regarding that? Preferably, which foods should I be concerned about regarding GMOs and those I should not? Besides corn, of course. All right, good question, Jonathan. I appreciate your question. So in our Treasures of Healthy Living Bible study and in the DVD series and in the CD series and on our website, so we teach, and even in the 7 Steps of Biblical Health, we teach the 3 principles. It's what we anchor everything on when it comes to eating. The 3 principles are this. Number 1, eat the food that God called food. Number 2, eat it as close to the way He designed it. You'll have to get the book for number 3. Okay, so GMOs are totally an altered food when we're crossing different species. So we're not just, okay, I want to cross this daisy with this daisy to get a different effect, a taller daisy or a more bigger bloom daisy. We're crossing different species like a salmon with a mosquito. And it's just outside of God's natural design. And I have a feeling, Jonathan, that you already understand that. So your question is, which foods are GMO? So just to make sure I was 100% accurate, I went to the FDA website. And so let me share with you the foods that are definite GMOs that we really need to be cautious about when we shop at the grocery store. Here's the list. Corn, as you mentioned, of course. Soybeans, canola, cottonseed, sugar beets, Hawaiian papaya, some zucchini, and some squash. Those have been the standard for many years. But here, you need to catch this. The new ones on the block are russet potatoes, apples, and alfalfa. Alfalfa, we saw that one coming. It's been talked about for many years. I was not aware of the russet potatoes and the apples. So Jonathan, you made me do some research, and I'm glad I did. Apples have always been on the high list of pesticides. And I have apple trees, and I understand why it's a high list of pesticides. I have yet to have an apple off my tree. This year it was close, but the squirrel beat me to them. So we have a lot of battles in my backyard, but you didn't ask about that. So I really want you to be very careful about what you eat and be very wise in your choices. But here's what I also want you to understand. Whoever controls our food controls us. This goes all the way back to the beginning of time with Eve in the garden. In fact, I have a podcast that's called Eve's Dilemma, What Happened to Our Food. Podcast is called Biblical Nutrition Academy. Go to podcast number 38 and understand what happened to our food, what brought us to where we are today. And also, think about this. Think about the story of Joseph. Okay, Joseph taken into captivity. A lot of those taken into captivity stories. Before he had a dream, 7 fat cows, 7 lean cows, taken into captivity. The dream came true. They had 7 great years and then 7 lean years. Well, that caused the Israelites to move to Egypt. And then we had to have, several hundred years later, we had to have the Exodus out of Egypt. All about food. It's all about food. A lot of things happening around us today, but it's always going to come down to who controls our food, because who controls our food controls us. And so the more we can control our own food, whatever I serve on this dinner table here, I want to control it as much as possible. So when I serve a meal and I've made my own bread, and let's just say we have a little venison, well, I know where that came from and I even know who butchered it. Maybe it's some vegetables from my garden. Maybe it's some fruit from my bushes or my trees. When I sit down to a meal like that, I know that I have had the most impact in that meal than any manufacturing company, any scientist. I have God-designed food for my family. And you know, these 3 principles, they work and they're timeless. So I hope this has helped answer your question, Jonathan. I know it's a little bit more than what you asked for, but hey, I like to over-deliver. It is always my joy to share with you these answers and to share with you what God has on my heart, and today is no different. I just want to say to you this: be strong in the Lord. That is where our strength comes from. That is where our strength will always come from. It's not going to come from politics. It's not going to come from the people around us. It will always come from Him. Don't fear. Don't be ashamed. Just stand firm. Put on your armor. Live this day to the fullest. And don't forget, subscribe, like, hit the bell, go to the website, grab the free downloads, and hey, let's get connected on our Facebook group because I want to meet you a little bit more. I want to get to know you a little bit more, especially those of you around the world. It's been a great day in the Lord. I'm Annette Reeder, the Biblical Nutritionist. I just love coming and talking to you. So thank you for letting me do this. When you hit the subscribe button, it tells me I'm giving you what you want, and I appreciate that. And don't forget, drink some tea. All right? It is finally here, my latest book, and this is such a treasure. I am so excited about this book, 7 Foods of the Promised Land. Why these 7 foods? Does it really matter? Why didn't he choose broccoli? You know how I teach about that. But no, these 7 foods are so specific. God had a purpose for each one of these foods to be a lesson for us to learn from. The way he shares his love through these 7 foods is incredible. Not only how nutritious they are for us, but how delicious they are for us and how spiritually encouraging they are for us. I can't wait for you to get your hands on my new book, 7 Foods of the Promised Land. Be sure and check out any of your retailers. It's available everywhere, even on my website. And while you check it out and read this book and enjoy it, be sure and leave a review on Amazon or our website. I'm going to be doing some fun giveaways for people who leave a review. Thanks for watching, and I really want you to check out 7 Foods of the Promised Land.